Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BSV TV. I'm your host Satoshi, and on this show we'll be defending the one and only, truly genuine Bitcoin. The Bitcoin that Satoshi Nakamoto designed in his white paper as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system for the world. Let's get the disclaimers out of the way. So all the statements that you hear on this show are opinion and must only ever be taken as opinion. They are never to be taken as any form of advice, family, financial, sexual or otherwise. And on that note, let's sit back, relax, have some fun and enjoy the show. Get paid for your content in Bitcoin and set your own fee on Streamanity.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I wasn't asked why I'm convinced. Craig is Satoshi. I posted on Reddit. He signed in my presence using the private key from block number one, the very first mined Bitcoin block. On a computer that I'm convinced had not been tampered with, on software I'm convinced that had not been tampered with, a message of my choosing.
At InChain, we've just funded a number of universities doing, so far, a test up to 1 gigabyte because it validates what we've already done independently. We've tested up to 380 gigabyte blocks. We've tested 1 million transactions a second and transaction sizes up to 20 megabytes. Super complex scripts. Basically ones that can run operating systems. That's all of global commerce times about 50. On top of that, we can have complex scripts. On top of that, we can scale each of those transactions 1,000 times, which effectively means about 1 billion transactions per second, which means we can then have all derivatives, all complex trades. That means high frequency trading. It means everything that happens globally.
Is the market that effectively BSV is going for, is that global e-commerce, which is currently valued at $29 trillion?
No, that's too small.
Buy and sell Bitcoin instantly at bsvgravity.com. And you can now book and pay for your winter holiday at skibsv.com. Howdy people, it looks like we are live. Sorry about that, technical difficulties getting started with. I just saw Shelly Max comment there saying that Patriots and Federal Reserve commentators are being removed from Twitch. Good grief, like no platform is safe. We really need a live kind of broadcasting platform on the blockchain, don't we? Seriously, whether it's pay-per-view or what, but it's the only network. It's the only truly decentralized network that cannot be shut down by a single central authority. Yeah, it is a bit troubling to be honest with you, but shitcoiners are going to have more trouble than that on their plate very soon, which we shall get into in a minute. So let's crack on, do the usual opener because I'm loving this. I'm gonna, as the show goes on, I'm gonna perfect it like more and more and more with the more video clips that I get from it. So for any newbies who are joining us, because there are going to be loads soon, Twitch new users yesterday on an absolute tear. I think it was like over 500, in 24 hours. Like things are rocking and rolling, and transactions on Twitch. I think Twitch are about third or fourth, or maybe fifth in the charts now. But I mean, they're above TDXP app. Even though TDXP app are smoking in terms of value, but in terms of actual number of transactions, Twitch has started to absolutely kill it. People are getting used to the idea where they can actually post their have their posties or have their posties have their posts or Twitches put onto the blockchain and capitally incentivized. So it just means that Twitch are not selling or using their data or tracking them, which is what we want in the future. So anyway, the reason we broadcast on Twitch is because YouTube have already kindly taken down 2 of my channels. Then they were preventing me from editing my shows. Then they were deleting episodes. And I was just like, you know what? This is absolutely insane. An alternative has to be found. So now we broadcast live on Twitch. We upload the trailer onto YouTube and then put the full episode up onto Streamanity, where you can set your own fee according to how you judge the quality of your content. Shout out to people in the chat box already. I can see Neezy, TD Verge, and J Paps from Canada. Neezy from Chicago. TD Verge, not sure where you're from. I'll let everybody know. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Let's crack on. The only reason I go over this at the moment is because we are still in that speculative phase. And again, I'm going to tear into shitcoiners like at the end of the show. I'm absolutely livid with the shit they come out with. Honestly, it's so dangerous. Like, because they're just stupid, like really stupid. But because we're still kind of like, we know the truth. And all I'm really doing is just kind of like uncovering the truth and showing it to them, literally, and letting people in their own camps tell it how it is. I mean, it's absolutely hilarious. So let's start off with my favorite, which is Michael Saylor's explanation of just how good Bitcoin is and how good the white paper is. But obviously he's not familiar with the political situation. But we'll just tell you Michael Saylor's, or in fact he'll tell you himself, his own opinion of the technicals behind the white paper. Take it away, Michael Saylor. Sail away.
I like Bitcoin the way it is. In fact, I love Bitcoin the way it is.
So do we, Michael. So do we.
And the way it's currently constructed, it is possible to put all $250 trillion of monetary energy in big blocks of encrypted energy.
You hear that? In big blocks. I mean, like, this clip was actually taken from an interview that he did with Dan Held, who's a shitcoin BTCer, a core coin. And of course, they don't want big blocks. They're just constantly advocating small blocks. But he's not said a word. Literally sitting there mute. Like, don't want to mention that you ain't getting big blocks coming your way, Michael, because he's been so enthusiastic about it.
On the blockchain, maybe the Bitcoin will be $1 million. You can probably calculate $10 million of Bitcoin or something. Big blocks, $100 million chunks.
Big blocks, $100 million chunks. Again, no response from Dan Held. Just listening to Michael Saylor rabbiting on about how big blocks, which is what Bitcoin is all about, how it's going to work.
On the blockchain, it'll store all the monetary energy in the world, and it should store it for the next 100 years without losing any of it.
Exactly, because it will be in big blocks on the blockchain. Again, this guy Dan Held saying absolutely nothing, staying mute.
If Bitcoin's going to fail, it's not going to fail due to lack of functionality or lack of speed or lack of scalability.
You hear all of that? It's not going to fail due to lack of speed or lack of scalability or anything, or the other thing that you mentioned there. If Bitcoin's going to fail, which he explains here.
In my opinion, if Bitcoin is going to fail, it's going to fail because it loses trust and security. We have to protect the network integrity at all costs.
Again, Dan Held staying absolutely mute in that. We have to protect the network integrity at all cost, which is why all the shenanigans has gone on and why the community, well, if you want to call it society, is so fractured, because it is shitcoiners that have damaged the integrity of the chain by throwing all of their shit at it. Honestly, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system is what the white paper says and what it was designed for, not for digital dog shit, which all these shitcoiners love because they're that effing dumb. Like, seriously, that effing dumb. And talk about dumb, we're just going to let Peter McCormack, in his own words, explain to Michael Saylor here what has actually happened to Bitcoin since Michael Saylor has read the white paper. Take the floor, Peter McCormack. Here we go.
Bitcoin is so different now from when Satoshi was here. It's a completely different project. It doesn't matter who Satoshi is anymore. Even if Satoshi came back, I don't think he would just be immediately welcomed as having this God-given right to decide what happens with Bitcoin. I think he would have to earn his right back into the project. Bitcoin is built based on consensus now.
Are you sure about that, Pete? Because it didn't sound like it to me. What's it, Bitcoin? Bitcoin is Literally, this is what shitcoiners do. He was like searching for a word because he can't even explain it himself. Bitcoin has consensus now. Honestly, just talking absolute shit. He has no clue whatsoever. But I tell you who does have a clue, and that is Samson Mow, because we now know that consensus that Peter McCormack mentions there just simply means what Blockstream decide, because they control the network. And now we're going to let Samson Mow explain it and admit it in the open. Take the floor, Samson Mow. Here we go.
Bitcoin was created by the central bankers that enslave you today. It is their scapegoat.
How do you answer those, Max and Stacey?
I think the evidence is clear that they do not control it. There's 10 years, almost 11 years now of track record.
Yeah,
Blockstream
controls it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Who does?
Who does? Can you say that again, Samson?
Blockstream.
Oh,
all right.
I was looking at you when I said that.
Yeah, I'm a block. I am a spy. I'm one of the spies.
Listening to Max Kaiser talking absolute drivel there. What on earth is he on about? No, spies. What on earth?
No. So this, it's an interesting. There's
absolutely speechless about what he's just heard there. And did he do anything about it? Did he pull him up? Did he pull him up on it? No, because number go up. It's all about protecting that number. And that number doesn't mean jack shit. But the reason they're protecting the number is because they're not smart enough to figure out the fundamentals. They don't know where else to go because they haven't got the intellectual capacity to figure it out. But, in my mind, I think that's no excuse. Like, absolutely unbelievable. But somehow very believable from shitcoiners. Now, as I've said before, again, this is for any newbies. First of all, if you're using a medium exchange, you have to send the value first. Now, the value is the value of the data once it's gone through that chain, because the data is immutable, which gives you data sovereignty. If you're just simply sending it through the Lightning Network, which is a centralized creation via Blockstream because there is no competition in it whatsoever, through Lightning channels and all this absolute bullshit, the data can just simply be lost because it's not secure, which means it's of no value whatsoever. And all the nodes on the network would have to be registered as money service businesses and hold a money transmitter license to make sure that they didn't lose the data, because it can be lost. However, that's not necessary when it goes through the chain, because when it goes through the chain, that data is secured, economically secured, not through cryptography, not through hash rate. It is economically secured because the system has value to those who use it, and therefore they economically sustain it for the economic rewards it produces and the service it provides, which is sovereignty over our data. So Lightning Network's a load of bollocks. But yeah, you send the data has to have value, so that's why the Lightning Network fails. And then after that, you have to prove you've sent the transaction, as in prove the transactions exist. If you just simply go around deleting evidence that the transaction exists, making it anonymous, it has no credibility as money whatsoever. A global trade and international commerce can never, ever use it, because they will not be able to get legal recourse if a supplier just simply runs off with their money. But listen now to this utter stupid shitcoiner getting really excited about doing exactly that to his coin. Take the floor, Roger Durr. Here we go.
I have a question here from Satoshi, defender of Bitcoin. He said, if a cryptocurrency is anonymous, like BCH, I don't think BCH is anonymous, but maybe there is something.
Check out cashfusion.com and you combine that with reusable payment codes, and you get Bitcoin Cash in the same sort of ballpark of privacy as Monero. It's really awesome. So you can check out Cashfusion. And I always get it wrong. I think it's .com, but it might be .org. So you can check both. Cashfusion.com.
Again, because it's a shitcoin with shit for brains, getting confused with privacy and anonymity. Ridiculous.
Okay, awesome. So BCH, maybe using Cash Fusion and XMR, if they're anonymous, how can a business get legal recourse against a supplier if the supplier defaults and no proof on the transaction exists because anon?
Yeah, if you want your cryptocurrency to be perfectly legal for everything all the time,
which I do, as almost everybody does, unless they're an effing shitcoiner with shit for brains.
Just go use your Visa card. Just go use your PayPal.
Oh my God.
Right? What do you need a cryptocurrency for? You
We need a commodity money, Roger.
can do all of it with a centralized, fully legal and fully compliant payment platform, right? So go use PayPal. I think you've missed the entire point. The entire point of cryptocurrencies is that by technological design, they are beyond the reach of the law.
Absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit.
They're above the law. That's why, imagine if Bitcoin could have been shut down by governments, they probably would have shut it down from, right out of the gate.
Honestly, how old have you got to be to believe this shit? Like what? Like a pubescent teenager? 16, 17, don't like being told what to do by your parents because you haven't grown up yet? Absolutely unbelievable.
And it's the fact that Bitcoin can't be shut down. We should ask the BSVers this. If they pass a law saying BSV needs to shut down their blockchain, are they going to obey and shut down their BSV blockchain?
Yeah, if it's breaking the law. If the law is something that society decides they don't want.
I hope the answer would be no. Which is just, a lot of the stuff I see from some of these BSVers are silly.
Roger, you're so silly.
But then there's other BSV fans that, I'm very, very
Derek McGill.
sympathetic to their way of thinking. But the ones that say that the blockchains all need to be legally compliant about everything all the time, just go use your Visa card.
And if you wonder why I call it Bitcoin Crash, because it's an absolute piece of shit, it's because Roger calls it Bitcoin Crash as well. Have a listen.
And we're going to really spread Bitcoin Crash across the entire country here in Antigua.
Oh dear, oh dear. Unbelievable, unbelievable. We're not going to go into too much of that. I mean, I do thoroughly enjoy myself doing that. But just quickly look at this. Bitcoin, what's this? A peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Does that say a peer-to-peer electronic digital dog shit system? Does it say a peer-to-peer electronic digital gold system? No, it doesn't. It says a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Cash being money, cash being the most liquid form of money, and money being commodity money, as in like gives people sovereignty over the ownership of it. It is not a centrally controlled piece of digital dog shit or a fiat currency. Absolutely ridiculous that these shitcoiners can't figure it out. My God. So anyway, just for any shitcoiners who might be looking at this that can't read, I've tried to make this as simple as possible by putting pictures in. Picture paints 1,000 words, so lots of words in here for all those shitcoiners. The only other digital commodity or digital asset that's a commodity is Litecoin, but because Charlie Lee created it, he discredits it. It's the paradox of the centralized starting point that Satoshi was absolutely genius in solving. And this is why even those who you would consider to be, academically gifted, even they can't figure out. Like the Twinklevide twins. They go to Harvard. Millionaires already. And they can't figure out because academically gifted just means you can read a book and you can regurgitate it. When it comes to actually using common sense and figuring it out, they don't understand it because it's a paradox. Literally, it's just unbelievable. It just goes to show you how far ahead we here in Bitcoin really are. But if you don't believe me that Charlie Lee exit scammed the shit out of his coin, just have a listen to Charlie Lee explaining how what he created is a complete joke, and Mike Novogratz telling people what he did. Take the floor, boys. Here we go.
You created Litecoin, right? So this has to be something like you're incredibly passionate about.
Yeah, as most of you probably know, I kind of created it just for fun, right? I didn't really expect it to become anything.
And I just remember the guy that founded Litecoin sold it all on the top. And I was like, dude, not great as the founder to unload everything literally on the high tick. Great as a speculator, but not as a community builder.
Yeah, great as a shitcoiner because shitcoiners shit on each other. That's literally all they do. But let's remind ourselves, what is it that shitcoiners say?
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
Just stay away from shitcoiners that sound like that. Oh my God. Right, let's run through these figures. Haven't seen these yet. Let's do this before we get into the juicy goss and all that. So do these add up? We've got 79.9, so it's roughly like 78, then 1.5. Yeah, it's about right. Spot on, actually. Right, so again, I'm not interested in these shit coins. I'm only interested in Bitcoin. So we've got hash rate 0.4%. Again, hash rate literally doesn't mean jack shit. It just simply gives the network credibility. But when you have the hash rate that is just simply following a speculative price, it literally doesn't mean jack shit because there is no fundamental value in that price. And shitcoiners wouldn't be mining it. Hence the tell, which is what we'll be looking at when we get to the bottom of this. So hash rate 0.4%, network nodes 2.3, transactions 17.9. That doesn't sound right. Anyway, and block size 40%. Oh, Coolcoin winning both those metrics today. Right, let's play spot the biggest block on B crash. I can see a 1.1. Oh, I got a 5 megabyte block. Well done them. Yeah, that's it. So it's 5 megabytes. And Michael Saylor, if you're looking for your big blocks on a blockchain, yeah, I can't see anything that's more than 2 megabytes. In fact, I can see a 1.4 megabyte, a 1.5, a 1.69, a 1.7. Look at that, a 1.7, and that's a block. So let's just remind ourselves just quickly of what Bitcoin is actually capable of. This image alone that we're going to look at, this one right here, was uploaded to the genuine Bitcoin blockchain. This image was a 6 megabyte transaction. 6 megabytes in one transaction. And all Coolcoin can manage is 1.6 in an entire block. Like an absolute joke. An absolute joke. And this one here, the deep space fields, check it out. This one was a 10 megabyte transaction. All this data in a single transaction on the genuine blockchain or the genuine Bitcoin. It just goes, it literally makes an absolute mockery of these shit coins. I have utter contempt for them. Utter contempt. It's ridiculous. So let's have a look at Bitcoin. Let's see what's going on. Oh, straight away, I mean, these are relatively small blocks for Bitcoin, but I mean, smashing the shit coins out of the water. 6.4, but let's just have a look at who's mining what. Hathor, Tal. Hathor, Tal. Mempool, Norpool. Oh, good. No sign of Huobi on there yet. What is going on? Oh. Whoa. There is not a single Huobi on here. Whoa. What is going on? I'm telling you. Politics. Yeah, the hash rate is where all the politics are. Little bits of VIA BTC. But now we know that VIA BTC is Hypo Yang of CoinX. Again, yeah, he's a B crash shitcoiner. So little bits on there, but oh, that's interesting. Wow. Yes, indeed. All right, looking forward to getting to that then. Hash rate again. Let's do this. So hash rate follows price, follows value, follows utility. When it has utility, it can create value. When it creates value, it can then develop a price. When it develops price, it can then be measured against the cost of other goods and services and used as a medium of exchange. There we go. No shitcoiner would understand that. Proof of work by now. Coolcoin, literally, Coolcoin and Bcrash will literally stop overnight. It is going to be absolutely brutal. Which is why I'm absolutely livid with these shitcoiners. And it's just like, how much warning, how many times do they need to be warned? You know, how long do they need to actually check out the warning and do the research on it before they realize? Because when it happens, and it will happen, they will lose everything. And they've already been warned. It's just like, look, we're giving you all the information. We're giving you the warnings as well. It is entirely your choice. You have to be prepared to lose everything. You know, but you can bet they'll be like pointing fingers and crying their eyes. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, you have to take responsibility for not knowing because the information was out there. I'm doing my best to tell you every day, but do you want to tune in? Right. That's your choice then. But I'm doing my bit. So, you know, and it's not everybody knows who Craig is. Like, you cannot be in the cryptocurrency world and not know who Craig is and listen to what Craig has been saying along with other regulators. You know, literally it will go zero overnight if you're holding shitcoins. And even if you've got your coins on an exchange, which you shouldn't have, because they are not for pumping and dumping. They are a utility, and the utility is data sovereignty. The ability to upload your data onto the blockchain so that you don't have to upload it to a corporate server who can just simply delete it on a whim if they don't agree with your political views or your political views don't fall in line with theirs. Effectively, they're like dictators. They cannot have any dissent amongst the ranks, and they use your data as blackmail against you. Whereas now you can just upload it to the blockchain, but you can only do that with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the bridge to the blockchain. And nobody controls, well, people control CoreCoin and they control Bcrash and all the other shitcoins. But the genuine Bitcoin, no one controls it. Calvin and Craig simply maintain it, which is why all these shitcoins were able to develop. And Blockstream were able to break the signatures. And Roger Ver and his crony mates were able to add Schnorr signatures and delete transaction history and all that shit. So it just goes to show you that, it's anyone, it's not controlled by anybody, because otherwise these shitbags wouldn't be able to tamper with it and F it up in the way that they've done. So Bcrash versus Bitcoin hash rate, Bcrash versus Bitcoin proof of work. It is currently 74,000 times cheaper to transact on Bitcoin than CoreCoin, but look at 21% more profitable to mine on CoreCoin. I wonder if that's why Huobi has jumped ship. Good. Don't want any shitcoins on the chain, shitcoiners on the chain. Daily average Bitcoin block size by network. Close. CoreCoin, Bcrash. Daily Bitcoin transactions by network. CoreCoin. Might be Bcrash just winning. Transactions per block by network. Not winning there. But fees USD, Bitcoin smashing it. Fees Satoshis. Whoa, dear. Never mind. It's a little blip. Got to give them one now and again. Block reward ratio again, time, price, value, utility, blockchain, growth by network, mocking Bcrash there. Right, here we go. This is where the politics is. Not really too much in 7 days. 24 hours. Huobi's a big miner. Via BTC turning up in the last 24 hours. Probably fancying a bit of CoreCoin, if you ask me. So here is CoreCoin, Huobi with 8.3. Wow, so via BTC turning it up on CoreCoin, and BTC.com down in 5th. Cano suddenly turning up the heat. But is Tal on there? No, they are not. Which means I wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. And do all these shitcoiners, these dirty traders, do they show you this on their graphs? No, because all they're looking at is the effing number go up and down. It does my head in. It is so, it is so basic, like primeval. Number go up, number go down. God. Bcrash. Again, all these shitcoin enterprises do nothing. But right, here we go. Wow, so it looks like, to me like Hathor are squeezing the competition, and Huobi couldn't take the heat, and they've jumped off the chain. So Huobi have jumped out of the frying pan into the fire, which is CoreCoin, and now they're only down to 16%, which is great. That's really good to see. If they're a Bcrasher, because again we know they were. What's the word? Rather dismissive of Craig's claim to be Satoshi. So why on earth would you be mining this? That's kind of like one of the most basic fundamental understandings of BSV when you realize who created Bitcoin. It's really not hard to figure out, Via BTC on there, again, just like hedging their bets, my guess would be. And we've got BTC.com, F2 pool, and pooling. All gesturing. Interesting. Right, yeah, let's just check that out again. So no Huobi has mined any of the recent blocks. I wonder why that is. Maybe Hathor is taking the small to medium sized blocks, and then you've got Tal taking the larger blocks. Via BTC again, shitcoiner just mining relatively small transactions here. maybe the market that Huobi was in has now been swallowed up, which means they're going to have trouble competing because they cannot create big blocks. They cannot get the small blocks that Hathor has got, because I mean that's specialty programming to mine the empty blocks. You've got Mempool, Norpool on there again, like doing well, and via BTC. Wow. Actually, let's just have a quick look at more details. Get an idea as to what's going on. This is what I was trying to find the other day. More details. Here we go. So, Hathor, Tau. Wow. Look at this. Oh, there's a Huobi. So it looks like the last time they mined a block was 18 hours ago. 18 hours ago. Is that right? It looks like it. Wow. I wonder if the market has been closed out. This is what I was saying about miners having to up their game and contribute to the network and not just put a load of shit hash rate on there. They're actually going to have to process transactions if they want Bitcoin. Wow. Fascinating stuff. Fascinating stuff. Again, shitcoiners wouldn't have a clue what I'm talking about though. But that's fine by me. So let's have a look at the blockchain. I was actually looking at this earlier on today because I was looking at I was actually more intrigued about the charts. You know how I like to keep an eye on things. Look at this. Look at this Twitch app. 128,782 transactions in the last 30 days. So they're currently in 5th place. So let's just see what that works out at per day, approximately. Here we go. Calculator. So we've got 128,782 divided by 30 days. Wow, so that's approximately 4,300 transactions per day. So divide that by 24 hours. So that's 178 transactions per hour. Wow. 128 transactions per hour. Let's divide that again by 16. So what is that? Okay, so that's on average, like that's 3 transactions a minute. You know, 3 transactions a minute just from Twitch. But I mean, massive increase there. And TDXP up again, you know, 115,000. Peer games, degenerate gamblers playing dice and all that kind of stuff. But then we've got Anne again. I've not used Anne. I've seen the video. I've seen the trailer for, obviously, you know. And then Predictology to do with you know, Weather SV and other record keeping systems. CentB again as a wallet provider, macking it above all the wallets. But we've got Pew Pew at double that. I think Pew Pew's that's on Handcash. But yeah, looking good. So let's see the chain working in front of our very eyes. So again, I'm not sure what D is, but you know what's funny? I actually found out you can actually zoom in and zoom out of these transactions. So you can zoom in to make them look like they're going faster, or make them bigger. So you can like maybe catch them or something like that, or you can zoom out. You know. But currently got transactions per second in the top left-hand corner. Again, for newbies, just looking at the scaling test network. Still the same at the moment, but again, biggest block 2.9 gigabytes. I think that's actually a 3.1 I saw. On the mainnet, a 353, but again, that's actually 369 megabytes mined by Tau. And transactions per second on the mainnet, 3,987 transactions per second. At the moment, we're just simply looking at 4.6 gone up, but transaction generators, and then we've got the information of the transactions on the right hand side here. Transaction ID, the input, the output, the type, and the op return. And once the transactions are recognized by 50% of the nodes on the network, which is instantly because it's a Mandela network, the transaction is no longer reversible, and it is thrown into the meme pool where it is competed for by the miners and payment processors who hope to put them in a block, win the block reward and also the block fees that come with it, and store it on the blockchain as a universal source of truth. That is how Bitcoin works. None of this replaced by fee bollocks. And just highlighting this rectangular block at the bottom here, we've got the hash number of the block, the height, who it was mined by, size, time, date, transaction count, and total fees in the block. And as we here in Bitcoin are anticipating very soon that the fees in the block should surpass the block reward, well, anticipated around Q1 2021. So watch this space. I mean, if again, haven't really heard any updates on it, but we'll look at CoinGeek in a minute. You know, Peter McCormack case coming. You know, Craig being in the Sunday Times again, getting national press coverage. You know, it's not like these shitcoiners haven't been warned as to what's potentially going to happen. You know, like Bitcoin is utility. It's not meant for trading. It's really not meant for trading at all. But like pumping and dumping is speculating. But again, just for newbies, again, this is just a really interesting page here. BitInfo charts. We'll have a look at average transactions per hour. And we'll just do this over 3 years. We'll look at it in a log version. There we go. This is Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin. It did all that in literally like 12 months. It overtook a Coin, which is basically had the same group of developers trying to develop it since the network started in 2009. And look at this. This is Satoshi vision of Bitcoin, the genuine Bitcoin, absolutely motoring. You know, once the other chains were centrally controlled by these shitcoiners, they should have changed the name. Did they? No, they didn't. However, luckily there is a copyright registration on the white paper and the name Bitcoin, which will be enforced, and they will not have a leg to stand on once CSW proves himself in court, which is what he is using Peter McCormack for. And let's just remind ourselves, because I posted this earlier today, of what Peter McCormack said, and things that have been said regarding Bitcoin over the years. So I said here, let us remember. And this was literally a genuine post by Samson Mao, the Chief Strategy Officer at Blockstream. He said this to Rick Fogvenia, who again is another shitcoiner. And this was back in 2016. Look at that, 6th of October 2016. He writes here, Bitcoin isn't for people that live on less than $2 a day. He said, you're imagining someone with your knowledge and background that is poor. I mean, what an arsehole. That is discriminatory. And as I posted here, if it's inaccessible to the poor, it's neither radical nor revolutionary. Just absolutely typical. Ridiculous. And as Cobra said here, white paper is from 2008. It has almost nothing in common with Bitcoin in 2017, like Pete described, which means it's not Bitcoin. So these shitcoiners won't mind changing the name of their shitcoin project because it doesn't, it's almost got nothing in common with Bitcoin anymore, which means it's misleading people like Michael Saylor, who get really enthusiastic when they see the technology and they're like, wow, yeah, big blocks on a blockchain. Like, no, mate, sorry, mate, not having that anymore. Oh dear, oh dear. And then, yeah, absolutely brilliant. So this was Peter McCormack's post. Craig Wright submitted a crazy amount of evidence that he is Satoshi in my lawsuit. What's your point? Again, no, just utter contempt for who Satoshi is and what he represents and the power that he's got. You know, again, it's not control power. It's economic incentive that he's got, you know, because there is just literally no value in these shitcoins. Nobody can't use it for anything. It's absolutely useless, which is worthless and therefore pointless, you know. Like, anyway, so let's see what some of these posts that I sent myself today. This is absolutely hilarious. Another one of these. So how did you discover a Bitcoin was BSV? Slowly at first and then all at once. And Anna Olsen has said here, sure, sex is great, but have you ever paid $85 for a failed transaction, which she won't ever get back? Like, when are these shitcoiners going to wake up and smell the coffee? Like, honestly, it's really not hard to see it. And there's another one as well that followed that. Check this one out. So this guy had said, this is effed up. I tried to take $200 profit yesterday and gas fee was $350. How can these protocols talk about banking the unbanked when one fee is more than the unbanked earn in a month? Yeah. So again, my reply to that was, how did you discover Bitcoin was BSV? Slowly at first and then all at once. Literally the cascade of people into this thing. And literally because they're that stupid, they're just simply listening to other people. Oh, well, I don't like Craig, right? Oh, yeah, oh, fraud and all this shit. You know, the technology speaks for itself. It speaks absolute volumes, like absolute volumes for it. Like, you know, but again, I mean, I'm not really much of a techie, but I mean, it's the fundamentals are pretty basic, and I do my best at explaining those. Let's see what this one was. Yeah, again, I mean, this cracked me up. So again, 7Z7 has said here, BSV TA. Again, like, I did laugh at that. Honestly, I genuinely did laugh at that. You know, honestly, just like think about what are you doing if you're trading. You are teaching people to pump and dump it as a speculative asset because you are not teaching people to use it. You're not telling people what it's about. You're not educating them about the fundamental value that this thing has got and what it can do for them, what it can do for the human race. You know, to get us out from underneath the control of these psychopaths that you know, have got their hands in government and got their hands on the printing button of the Federal Reserve, printing the world reserve currency into infinity, locking people in their homes because they can. They pay everybody, including the prime ministers, even in a democratic society, because everybody needs to be paid. You know, it is so important. And these shitcoiners, you know, these dirty traders, these effing dirty traders who are literally doing nothing but, oh, well, this is what I see. I see a number go up, I see a number go down. Absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. Right then, peeps, I'm going to go and enjoy myself by watching that movie. So, yeah, as ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there. Joy given. Same time tomorrow. Catch you guys later. Get your tweet etched on Twitch, forever on the Bitcoin blockchain. Do it today at www.jointwitch.com. BuyBSV.live, the best place to buy Bitcoin SV online. Get paid for your content in Bitcoin and watch the full episode on Streamanity for just 20 cents. Go to www.satoshi.tv. See the link in the description below. Bitcoin, one world, one chain.
Yeah! One vision.